Let's talk about Reddit. Stock symbol RDDT. This stock has been on an incredible tear going from May all the way up until September, where it finally peaked out and has seen some heavy amounts of selling in recent days. So the question here is whether or not to be buying this stock on the dip. Is it done dipping? Is it done pulling back? Is it time to get into the stock, or do we need to just step aside and let the stock continue its free fall? That is exactly what I'm going to get into in this video. So let's go ahead and get started on that right now. First off, you'll see on RDDT, we don't have a ton of price history with it. It only goes back to March of last year. Nonetheless, there's a lot that we can deduct from this chart. First off, you have its ultimate long-term trend line in place here. Now, it's not a parallel channel that it's traded in, but it's pretty close. It looks like, in fact, at one point, it did reject the upper channel band and pull back before ultimately breaking through it. But you can see that it didn't stay outside of that upper channel band for very long before it finally succumbed to selling pressures. There's two breakout levels that really define this stock as well. The first one goes all the way back into March in its very beginnings, where it formed a really nice base and then had this incredible gap higher and went on this crazy tear all the way from about $81 to $230 before pulling back to the rising trend line, or this lower channel band. And then you had a second big time breakout here, and it broke out again on a significant gap right there back in June of this year. Had a breakout, pulled back, settled in a little bit, and then had another gap higher that took it to the upper channel band before pulling back once again. Now, here's where we got to start paying close attention. You have a short-term rising trend line going all the way back to May. This is probably the major element that I would be paying close attention to. But the reason why you have to take this pullback serious is that when we've seen other major pullbacks where it's broken a key support level, it has had much further to drop thereafter. So take a look at this particular break right here from December and February of last year and early this year. This level here, you had a nice consolidation, took the next leg higher before pulling back, testing this support level and finally breaking down. Once it broke the support level, it went from 155 all the way down to 82, almost a 50% retraction just from the moment that it broke down. Again, you're starting to see a similar pattern right here with Reddit, where it's breaking below a key support level. So if that same theory holds up, going from 212, it could see this rising trend line once again. So that's why I think the past is so important on this particular stock, is because you're seeing history play itself out. You're seeing all this action take place in a rising channel band. And so just as the lower channel band, or as the upper channel band has pushed back and held as resistance, I expect that at some point Reddit's going to pull back to this lower channel band and test it as support. So one of the big things that you want to do in your trading, you want to have risk mapped out. Where are you going to get out? If you got in early on here and you're long from 134, you're in a good position here. You've more than doubled your money at one point, and you should have been taking partial profits along the way. And assuming the best and that you did, then you need to at least have this line in the sand where you know, okay, if it breaks down any further, I'm not going to stay in it. Probably one of the best levels, if you're still in the stock and you're riding it lower right now, would be this rising trend line going back to May. This rising trend line, we're going to go ahead and give it a different color. I don't even know what it will give it. Let's give it purple here. But this rising trend line is going to be key going forward, because if that does break, and that could get tested, the very next day, if that breaks, then the next support level is going to be this breakout support level from back in June. If that breaks, then you're looking at a move back down to this 103 area. Again, we don't have a ton of price history. You don't have much history with a 200-day moving average because it just hasn't even been around that long. But we have enough to really be able to make some really good logical decisions here. And these are the support levels that we want to be very careful of. It's already broken one. You got two more before it ultimately tests the most important support level of them all. And that is this lower channel band that goes back to its April lows. Now, if you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you did, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And let me know down in the comments below, what is your plan with Reddit? Are you still holding this stock? Are you looking to white knuckle it all the way lower? How much faith do you really have in this stock? I want to hear about it down in the comments below. And remember, Jesus Christ, he's the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. Thank you. God bless.